Gluten Free Cakes, chocolate mud cake. Hi, I'm Bron. Welcome to Believe It's Not Gluten, the home of amazing recipes for the gluten intolerant. Amazing because they taste so good, no one will know they're gluten free. This is a very rich and moist cake, definitely a mud cake. This cake has the eggs replaced with chia seeds and it makes such a great cake I can't imagine going back to using egg. The only thing is that you really need to grind the chia seeds into a fine powdery substance, and you need a good processor or grinder to be able to do this. My regular small processor that I use all the time doesn't even touch the chia, so you do need something that will grind them well. You can see here the seeds that have become into a fine powdery texture as opposed to the whole seeds. Then grease and line your tin. You can use either a 20cm tin or a larger 24cm tin. The smaller tin will just give you a higher cake. So just grease the sides of the tin and the bottom corner well. I'm using butter, but you could also use coconut oil. And once that's done, you're ready to start mixing the cake. Now you can do this either in a saucepan on the stove top or in the microwave. This one will be done in the microwave, so start with 250 grams of butter and melt that just until it's well melted. You don't want it overheated. And you also need to chop 200 grams of cooking chocolate. I'm using half milk and half dark chocolate as it's plenty rich enough with this, but you can use whatever you like as long as it's cooking chocolate. And if it's cold weather, it's easiest to do this with a cleaver rather than a knife. Then when your butter's melted, add 400 grams of sugar and 1 1/3 cups of boiling water. Or I'm doing 4 1/3 cups here. And then in with your cooking chocolate and then the ground chia seeds. That's 4 tablespoons of ground chia. Now you want the chocolate to melt as you mix, so you end up with a really smooth texture. Just make sure you have it really smooth with no parts of separated butter or water left. Everything incorporated really well in together. And then you just leave that to cool. While that cools, you can make your ganache, so 1 cup of cream. Once again, you can do this in a saucepan on the stove top or in a bowl in the microwave. This is going into the microwave just for as long as it needs to boil. Then in with 200 grams of chocolate. Once again, I'm using a mixture of half milk and half dark chocolate. Then it's better to let it sit for a while before you stir it, just for a couple of minutes so the chocolate can melt. If you do it straight away like I have here, you'll find your ganache isn't really smooth. There'll still be little lumps of chocolate in there. So just mix it till you have it nice and smooth, then it can cool and be covered, go into the fridge until you're ready to use it. Then back to the cake mixture. You can see here it's cooled until it's just warm. You can see it's thickened up a bit. Then just in with the dry ingredients. And I think you need a beater of some kind. It's quite hard to get the mixture smooth if you're just using a spoon, but it's quick and easy with a beater. So give that a good mix until it's nice and smooth, and that's it. So when it's done, you don't want it to be too thick or it won't rise and it will be heavy and stodgy. So when it's finished, it should be thicker than runny custard, but probably about the same as a thicker pouring custard. And then it just goes into the cake tin and into the oven for about 1 hour. Now it's not easy to tell when it's cooked because it has quite a high sugar content. It forms a thick crust on the top and you really can't tell what's going underneath that. So if you're watching it cook, you'll see it rise nicely and then sink a little in the middle. Just give it another 5 minutes or so after that and then test it with a skewer. Just dig around a little under the crust and make sure it's cooked crumbs underneath, not still a moist mixture. You can see it never looks that good when it's done. The edges look good but the middle doesn't, and it always sinks a bit, but that doesn't matter, it will all be covered with ganache. So just leave it in the tin for about 5 minutes before turning it out. Go around the sides with a knife. I left this for too long, so you can see that it's all become very moist and been damaged as I tipped it out and took off the paper. That doesn't matter, it'll be covered up, and just leave it to be cool. When you're ready for the ganache, it's better to have it close to room temperature because it will have solidified pretty much in the fridge. You may be able to get it to a spreadable consistency by stirring with a spoon, but it's easier to do it with beaters. And then just spread it onto the cake. I would normally do it upside down because the bottom is smoother, but you can turn it right way up if you want. If you don't like having the dip in the middle, that you fill with ganache, you can just slice a little off the edges to give you a flat top. So you can see I'm not actually giving you a demonstration on how to ice cakes professionally, but here it is anyway. It's a delicious, rich, moist, chocolatey mud cake. Perhaps the ganache is a bit thick as you see it here, but still delicious. Hope you enjoy it. Please visit the blog for the full recipe and plenty of tips so that you can make this successfully yourself. If you like this, please subscribe to our channel below and please share our videos as much as you can. Thank you for watching, and believe it, it's not gluten.